Welcome to Perfometrics Quick Wins. We're about to tackle one of the biggest challenges for any coach. How do you program conditioning to keep an entire team fit, fast, and firing on all cylinders through a long, grueling season?
I mean, it really is the ultimate puzzle, isn't it? You've got starters playing massive minutes, you've got subs with totally unpredictable game time, and every single one of them has to be ready for the peak demands of a match. And if you get it wrong, you're looking at fatigue, poor performance, and a whole bunch of injuries you probably could have prevented.
But if you get it right, you've got a team that's resilient and powerful, right to the final whistle. And the key isn't just piling on more work. It's about working smarter with a systematic approach using high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. So let's start unlocking that. So, where do we start? Right here, with the first and most important mindset shift. See, great HIIT programming doesn't start with your favorite drill on a whiteboard. It starts with the body. It starts with biology. You have to ask yourself, what specific adaptation am I actually trying to create in my athletes? This quote absolutely nails the most common mistake. We all have our go-to drills, don't we? But we often just assume they're creating the right outcome. The real game changer is to flip that thinking completely. Start with a physiological response you want, and then work backward to find the drill that gets you there. So this flow right here, this is our new playbook. First, you define that physiological target. Step 2, you pick the HIIT type that actually matches it. And then only as the very last step do you choose your training format, which, from now on, we're going to think of as your weapon for delivering that specific stress. And just so we're clear, when we say HIIT types, we're not talking about specific drills yet. Think of them as bigger buckets, broader categories. Each one represents a unique recipe of stress, a little bit of aerobic, some anaerobic, and a dose of neuromuscular work. This is the framework that gives you the precision to target exactly what your athletes need. Okay, so you've picked your target, you know the kind of stress you want to apply. Now it's time to choose the right tool for the job. This is where we get into the coach's arsenal, these specific HIIT formats you can deploy as weapons. And here they are, the 5 primary weapons in a modern coach's toolbox. Each one of these, from the classic long intervals all the way to those popular small-sided games, is designed to produce a very, very different effect. The magic is knowing which one to pick and when. This table is basically your cheat sheet. Just look at how it matches the weapon to the goal. Need to build aerobic power without a ton of joint stress? Boom, the chart points you to short intervals. Need to develop pure raw sprint endurance and speed? Well, that's a job for repeated sprint training. Or maybe you're trying to push that all-out, top-end anaerobic capacity. That's where spring interval training comes in. It's all about matching the right tool to your physiological target. All right, we have the framework, we have the weapons. Now let's put it to the test with a really high-stakes problem that every single coach worries about, managing high-speed running to prevent those absolutely devastating hamstring injuries. Okay, so here's the deal. The research is pretty clear on this one. There's a strong link between sudden, huge spikes in an athlete's weekly high-speed running volume and a much higher risk of hamstring injuries. This is a massive red flag, especially for your substitutes who might train all week, play for 10 minutes, and then suddenly get thrown in for a full 90 the next week. This is the number that should set off alarm bells in your head. An acute to chronic workload ratio, that's short-term versus long-term workload, greater than 2, that means you're in a danger zone. It tells you an athlete's workload has more than doubled compared to what their body is used to. That is a massive spike. And this chart illustrates the solution perfectly. Those spiky, jagged bars, that's a player with an unpredictable workload creating those dangerous spikes. But now, look at the smoother bars. By adding targeted HIIT sessions, what we call top-ups, for players with low game minutes, we can completely smooth out their weekly load. We're preventing the spike, we're protecting the player. This is smart HIIT in action. So, how do we pull back from just one session and actually build an entire week? Let's put all these ideas together into a game plan that can balance all the complex demands on our athletes. The guiding principle for the week is something called complementary loading. It's actually really simple, but so powerful. Just don't double down on the same kind of stress. So if your main tactical session is already packed with high-speed running, your extra HIIT work should focus on something different, like mechanical work. You know, the short, sharp accelerations, decelerations, and changes of direction that tax the body in a completely different way. This sample plan shows you exactly how that works in the real world. Just look at how the days are balanced. Some days focus on high-speed running, others on mechanical work. It prevents overload. And, crucially, check out the plan for the substitute. They get those specific top-up HIIT sessions to keep their weekly load consistent with the starters. This makes sure they're ready and resilient, not exposed to risk.
So when you put it all together, the big takeaway is this. Effective HIIT isn't about running your players into the ground. It's about being a sniper, not using a shotgun. It's a strategic process. You define your target, you choose the right weapon, and you integrate it intelligently into your weekly plan.
And that systematic approach, that's what separates good conditioning from great conditioning. It's what keeps the team strong in the final minutes instead of fading. Now we want to hear from you. How do you use HIIT with your team? Share your best drill in the comments. And of course, subscribe for more Perfometrics quick wins.